I genuinely shed a few tears reading this book, and the only other times I can remember that happening were when I was reading The Book Thief and The Perks of Being a Wallflower, two books which I now consider among my all-time favorites. So I think you can pretty much deduce from that the sort of grade I'm considering giving this book. Hey everyone, I'm Adam Samuel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am reviewing The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hell by Robert Dugoni. Right off the bat, I want to say that if you are considering checking out any of the books I've reviewed so far on my channel, let it be this one. I'm not going to be holding back my praise for it. I really enjoyed this book. The story is about Sam Hill, a man born with ocular albinism, which is a condition that causes his eyes to be red. When we first meet him, he's an adult working as an eye doctor, but as the book progresses, it splits into two timelines. There's Sam in the present, and also Sam as a kid growing up and attending Catholic school. It's not a good experience. He's frequently bullied by the other kids and called a devil child, but it goes further to the administration, where even the principal is discriminating against him. But the worst of it comes from David Bateman, a classmate who essentially becomes his tormentor, and some of the stuff that he does to Sam is really heinous and awful. You really feel for this poor kid and want it all to work out for him, and that's because the author has just done such an incredible job making him so rootable and easy to connect with. It's a classic underdog tale, but this is one that just really struck a chord with me. The only real positive figures Sam has in his life are his parents, especially his mother, who is extremely religious, and when Sam was born, she said he was going to live an extraordinary life, and she truly believes that. She goes out of her way to ensure that he is given a fair shot at life, and is his biggest cheerleader through and through. Between the two timelines, there's a lot more of Sam growing up, but eventually they start coming together, and as you start to see the full picture of what's going on, the story just leaps to a whole nother level. And that's not even mentioning a third act that is just plain incredible. I was hooked swiftly, and the book held my attention all the way through. I couldn't put it down. So I will say that I'm going to be doing things a little different today. This review is not going to follow the formula I usually do where I break my thoughts into three different sections. Instead, I'm just going to say what I thought and then share my grade at the end. And there will be no spoilers here, so don't worry about me giving anything away. The story for me is very reminiscent of Angela's Ashes and The Kite Runner in that we get the full portrait of a person's life, from childhood to adulthood. You really feel both the highs and lows of this person's life. One segment that really stood out to me involved a bike. You'll know it when you see it, and it really hits hard because you do root for this kid, and anytime something bad happens to him, it's like watching a puppy getting kicked. If I was nitpicking, I might say that the parents were maybe too good and the bad guys were too bad, but that never took me out of the story. If anything, it just got me more invested and hoped that everything would work out for them. One thing that surprised me, though, is the fact that religion is portrayed in such a positive light. Maybe it's just the books I've read, but religion in fiction outside of books that's geared toward religious people, it usually gets the short end of the stick. So it was refreshing to see that flipped, and as someone who isn't Catholic, I enjoyed getting a glimpse into what that sort of life is like. I also love the minor characters, especially Sam's friends Ernie and Mickey. They were lovable and interesting, and watching them grow and develop alongside Sam was like watching a photo album come to life. Of those two, Mickey was probably my personal favorite, and every time she was in a scene, I just enjoyed it all the more so. I especially liked that the author didn't shy away from social issues of the time. The story takes place between the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and prejudices people had, and unfortunately some still do have today, were very much a thing. I'm glad it was addressed, and the development as a whole was just so well done. The characters felt reliable and on the reader's side, and those are the best characters that I enjoy reading. And like I mentioned, the book is really emotional. There are things Sam has to say about life that are really poignant and made me think. His story is about coming to terms with the fact that he can't change his eyes, no matter how hard he prays. I think the theme of the story is acceptance, and getting to watch Sam's life was just such a joy. It was genuine and also really pure, and it just really hit me. So with that all said, my grade for The Extraordinary Life of Sam Hell is 5 out of 5 stars, the first 5-star book review on my channel, and it completely deserves it. I still have not stopped thinking about this book and characters since I finished reading it over the weekend. It came to me at a time in my life when I really needed it, and it's the sort of story that reminded me why I loved to read in the first place. I highly recommend you check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for checking out this review. Be sure to subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time in another video. Until then, bye.